Welcome to Morrison Madness.
Welcome.
Honestly, it's like pulling teeth to get you to start one of these, isn't it?
No,
Yes. You just
I never
sit
know
there
how
and
you're
wait
going to
for me.
start them.
So
Sometimes
you
you
start.
like,
You
boom, you're
start it.
into the topic and you're ready to go. And sometimes you're like,
We already told them
welcome.
what the topic was going to be in the last one.
Well,
So for
but
those of
maybe
you,
they didn't listen
for
to the
those
last
of you who
one.
didn't listen to the last one, shame on you.
Oh, you're so mean.
Yeah. So we've been talking about things that you would do differently in life, or what you would tell your younger self.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. And so I talked about what I would do. You talked about what you would do.
Right.
And now we're going to talk about what we would do differently as a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead, jump right in there.
I don't know. This is not my area. You know that. I struggled with mine. Things we would do differently as a couple. There are things that I would say we would do differently. I don't know that you would.
Try me.
All right. Well, one of the first things would be that we wouldn't have kept your house. We would have sold it right away.
Yeah.
So you had a house. I lived in a mobile home. And so then when I bought this house that we're currently in, you kept your house. And yeah, as soon as you would have moved out, which we were still moving you out after we got married.
There's a couple different reasons why we did that, though.
No, and I know there's reasons why we did, but we didn't end up doing that. Like, the state of Iowa has a rule, a law, I don't know what it is, about when parents are divorced, that they're required for a third of the college education of the child, right? Within a divorce decree? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's part of it.
And so
we kept the house so that they would have a place to stay to help pay for that expense for college.
You would be paying their rent. They could stay there for free kind of thing. And then you were covering their rent. That's how you were going to help pay for their college expenses, because we have 2 colleges right here in town and several more within driving distance that you could be a college student and live a half an hour away.
Right.
Kind of thing. And so that was the main reason that you talked to me about wanting to keep that house. And I understood it.
But we also had a prenup.
Yes.
And I didn't have an issue signing the prenup.
No, right.
But the prenup basically said whatever was yours coming into the relationship was yours, and whatever was mine coming into the relationship was mine.
Right.
And I was fine with that.
Right.
You know, but yes, within a couple of years, we didn't really need the prenup. We could have sold that house, combined our incomes, used that money to pay down on this house, or put it in savings, whatever.
Or invested in something
Right.
else to be able to, move forward with something. Yes. So, I would not have kept that house.
No.
I didn't really want to keep it when we did, but I understood the reasoning why, and so I didn't fight you on it, if that makes sense.
Right.
Even though I didn't feel like it was
It's just
necessarily
become
the best
more
idea.
of a pain in the ass than it should have been.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yes. So that's one thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We would have done a lot more research into the vasectomy reversal.
Oh, the health insurance side
the
of it.
Tessie stuff.
Yeah.
And made sure that we had all of our T's dotted and our I's crossed. And
Yes. Well, and I think we did good research. Like, we did a lot of research. We got our results or of our research confused. Because when we did the research, I was still working full-time at the university. And we knew that if you did the vasectomy reversal and it did not work, that then doing IUI or IVF or whatever would be covered by that insurance. But if you didn't do the vasectomy reversal, then it's not covered.
Right.
But we thought that was your insurance,
Right.
not mine at the university. And then right before we got married, I left my job at the university and started my PhD, which is a completely different insurance. And we weren't concerned about that at the time. And we just kept on with the plan that we had, not realizing that we lost the insurance for the plan that we were going down. Right. So then it became a huge nightmare, because
and an expense. I mean, we've spent at least $30,000.
Yes, trying to have a kid.
So
and it's not working.
Right.
Yes. Yep. So yeah, that would be another thing to, whether it was a
And that
matter
would buy
of,
a lot of diapers, formula, and,
yes, it would. What is it they say that you spend 120,000 or something on a child from the time they're born until they graduate or something along those lines?
I don't know.
I don't remember how much it is.
It's got to be way more than that.
Maybe, but yeah.
I would hate to keep all my receipts and
I'm saying the average. Your children are exceptional. So
I think cheap daycare is $500
Yeah.
a month.
yeah, it's got to be
Easy.
crazy.
It's probably more than that. I would
Right.
bet having one kid in a good daycare right now is probably $1,000 a month.
Probably.
I mean, that's
crazy.
$12,000 for the first 5 years. That's $60,000 right there.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's crazy. I get it. Yeah. So either having our research more sorted so we knew that plans had changed so we could have done something different, or I don't think I would say that I wouldn't gone back to grad school.
no, I just meant
excuse
that we
me.
would have done I would have had we had plans for me to have the vasectomy reversal.
Yeah.
And we delayed them. I should have had it before we got married.
Yes. And we talked about doing that, and then we decided that there wasn't a need for you to do it beforehand.
Right. And then after we got married, within a few months, my dad was diagnosed
Yes.
with cancer, and then that put a roadblock
Yes.
on doing anything, and it shouldn't. We should have just,
We should have still gone forward with our stuff instead of
Yes.
putting our things on hold. And had we known more about the fact that, we got married when I was in my mid-30s, that time was already ticking against us at
Right.
that time. And we didn't know that because when you hear of success stories, you don't hear...
you start to think that that's the
there's-
norm and that it's not that big a deal.
Correct. You don't hear that it's only 2% or less of people that are in their late 30s and 40s that are successful. And so you just think that, oh yeah, you can still do it at that age. So yes, I feel like, yeah, I would have rather had started trying right away. I don't know how I would have been able to manage that with grad school, but I'm sure I would have juggled it somehow.
Same way we juggle everything else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Laughter and madness.
And a lot of gray hair.
Wow.
Not you, me.
What color do you think this used to be? This isn't...
I know, but your hair has been that color pretty much the whole time I've known you. It might have gotten a little lighter, whiter since I've known you, but it always had a lot of white and gray in it.
Here's a fun Don fact. When
no.
Don was little, Don was a ginger.
I know, that's crazy. Crazy.
Yep.
But everybody, there's a lot of people that go gray early. I know people that went gray when they were 18.
Oh, I do too,
So-
but I'm saying my hair was really red, and then it kind of went like a blondish brown to a blonde to I don't even know what this is.
Well, you had a good salt and pepper when we got married. There was a
cinnamon
lot,
and
cinnamon
and sugar.
Cinnamon and sugar.
There you go.
There you go. Cinnamon and sugar when we got married.
Because there was no black in my hair.
But it looked like it in contrast to the white.
Well, I suppose.
I liked it. It was pretty. It still is.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyway.
So what else would we have done differently? We wouldn't have bought a new car right before a virus strikes the whole world.
Yeah. What in the world is that about?
No, I
Talk
think
about a stressor.
I know, but that's not. We couldn't predict that. I think one
Well,
of the
we couldn't have
things.
predicted a lot of things, but yeah.
One of the things that I would go back and tell myself is when we're starting the DJ company, go to the DJ events, go to
Yeah.
the DJ conference. Every other business industry that I've
Yeah.
ever been in, I went to the conferences. When I had the pet store,
Yeah.
I went to the conferences.
I think the hard thing for me to wrap my head around in that situation is that around here, and it doesn't seem like that's the case everywhere, but around here, the DJs are very competitive with each other. You don't talk to the other DJs hardly in this area. We have a couple DJs that we will work with. If we're booked for weddings, that we'll send whoever has contacted us towards that DJ, and they will do the same to us, right? But we don't, there's a lot of DJs in the area that they will undercut you on purpose If they know that you have a gig somewhere, like karaoke somewhere, they're going to come in and offer less because they want that gig. And that's how the stuff has always worked around this area.
Yeah.
And so then I never had that desire of, I want to go meet other DJs.
Yeah, and I get that. But in all honesty, I think Iowa City, this area, and I don't know if it's because of the university or what, there are more DJs in this area.
There's so many.
I'm not kidding. I think there's more DJs in Iowa City than there is in Des Moines.
Yeah, you
and
can
Des
throw
Moines
a stone
has
and hit a
5
DJ.
times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they're not a DJ now, they used to be a DJ.
Right.
Or their brother or their uncle is a DJ.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and not just like, oh, I know how to. No, they have their own equipment, or they have a buddy that they share equipment with, or who knows? I mean, there's
but
just...
So let's take a poll and
Oh.
see how many people think that just because they claim to be a DJ and they have equipment, they're professional DJs.
Yeah, no.
They're not. That's a negative.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of quote unquote DJ companies in the area that should not really be DJ companies in the area. And like the DJs that we get along with, that we will, help each other out, send clients each other's way if we're booked or what have you. We all agree that those DJs really shouldn't be DJs.
Remember the boom boxes that had the speakers that would disconnect? Right? They had the long speaker cord in between them, but they would attach to them so you could carry it around.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could take it to parties. I feel like that's what some of the DJs around here have for equipment.
I have
and
one
they're
of
like,
those.
I'm a DJ. Right?
Maybe.
And then they've got a light that they take a piece of paper and wave in front of. Look, it's strobe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yes. But it's crazy around here. And again, if it hadn't been so competitive, I probably would have pushed for us to do more with the national DJ organizations and things like that.
Because the first conference we went on was great.
Yeah, we met some amazing other DJs.
From all over the country.
Yeah, and sharing the hints and tips and tricks and learning the stuff that we did, and not just us learning, we were teaching them things that we were doing. Like just sharing that information and growing because of it was huge.
It had a great impact on our business.
It did. Yes, and then the virus hits.
So that's one of those things that I would definitely go back and tell my younger self, go to the DJ events.
Do it early.
Not just locally, but nationally.
Yep.
Meet the people.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and I feel like, because I think we would have expanded the stuff that we were doing a lot faster.
Right.
Like we do a photo booth and stuff now with our DJ stuff, which is fairly new. And we would have done that years ago.
Well, and we wouldn't have wasted money on the light, the rigging,
right,
all of that stuff. We would have went with the
smaller
gig bar
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
don't think that we would have gotten different equipment. I realize
No.
our equipment costs 4 times what other people's does. I don't care. I think it sounds that much better.
Yeah, well, it's set up behind me, isn't it? I was like, what are you looking at? Yes, it's set up behind me. So yes, that Bose system is definitely, I wouldn't want to go with anything
If you wanted
either.
to sponsor a podcast, Bose, we'd be happy to have your speaker front and center.
Absolutely.
We could even play some stuff through your speaker so people can hear how great it sounds.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
We love our Bose.
We do love Bose. Yes. But I had when I'd worked for the other company doing KJ stuff, they had a system before their Bose system. And when they upgraded to their Bose, it was night and day. And I was like, when we talked about starting our company, I'm like, we're getting the Bose system. I realized that it's more expensive. I don't want to go with anything else. And
I've used
doing...
other speakers. Well, yeah, we just for the second set, we thought about it cheaper.
Right. And I was like, no.
No.
We're not doing that.
And I agree. And I've had all of those other brands. I mean, I've had Klepsch speakers and I've had JVC and the EVs and all of that stuff. Yeah. And yes, they're cheaper. They're also a lot heavier to lug around.
Yes.
I mean, some of them are getting lighter, but none of them are like the Bose Tower.
No, right.
So that's something I definitely would have done different. I don't know.
Dead silence.
Well, I was trying to think if there's other stuff. I mean, sometimes I think, I wouldn't have brought Dad's tractor down here and put it in the front yard, but fuck yeah,
yes, you would have. Yes, you would have. But there are things. So I love our house. But there are quirks to our house, and there are things that I would have prioritized differently, like the fact that we don't actually use the shower in our master bathroom, and so then
Because you can't even turn around in
right,
it.
because it's so small, right? It's a small shower stall, but I would have prioritized things differently, like maybe not have worried about doing the mudroom because we don't actually really use it as a mudroom and never did. Then I would have
Put that money
towards the bathroom, so we could have actually used the
We
bathroom.
did most of the work on that mudroom ourselves, though. So
I know, but-
we only spent about $500,
Yes. For paint and tile and yes.
and the guy to put the door in.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't very expensive, so it still wouldn't have covered the bathroom. But there's
But if you
Yeah.
add all of those things up, I mean, I agree.
yeah. There are
There's
things that-
lots of little things that we put into that we could have pulled all that money together and had the master
Prioritize
bath
something
redone.
different.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have done priorities around here a little bit differently. I would not have gotten our dishwasher.
Yeah, not that model. No.
We were wanting to have American made that we ended up with a dishwasher that doesn't work well for us
Right.
because it's American made rather than going with something that wasn't American made, which would have
Well,
worked
no, that
better
has
for
nothing to
us.
do with it. We could have gotten an American-made one. The particular place that we were shopping, they didn't have one that the only brand that they carried didn't have heating elements in them,
Oh, gotcha.
and that's the issue. And it
Gotcha.
uses the cold
Water
whatever
condensation,
which works
component.
fine for glass.
And all of our stuff is plastic.
Well, not all of it. I mean, our Corel,
No, right. The Corel works, but
You know,
like
it
all of
works-
our Tupperware.
right? It works great for the dishes and the glasses and the silverware.
Well,
yeah,
for the
but
glasses, but we had three
plastic,
young kids,
yes.
and so we
it
had
doesn't work for the plastic glass.
glasses.
It doesn't work for the Tupperware.
No,
So
no.
spend a lot of time just hand drying stuff or putting it in a drying rack on the counter.
Yes, absolutely. So that would be something. But other than that,
Yeah, I
the
feel
car.
like
The car is the other big one.
I'd have cut corners somewhere else and got a new washer and dryer.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that we always have to dry our clothes twice.
Yeah.
It pisses me off to no end.
Well, and in all honesty, if we ever move from here, I would want the washer and dryer on the main level. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, and you primarily do the laundry, but then there's times where you're like, hey, can you check the dryer, and you leave for work or something that way. Do you think I ever remember to
No,
go down?
you don't.
Never remember. Where if it was on the main level, I would hear that buzzer, and I would be able to help more. I would be able to be on top of it. And I would do smaller loads in between. Like if I just needed to have something washed, I could create a load of my clothes and just get them done. And I would know whether or not you're in the middle of something. So that would be something that in the future, but I'm like not to where I would remodel the house to have it on the main level here.
Right.
But that would be something that I would prefer later.
Yeah. So I think the big thing is doing the stuff to try and have a baby. We would have started down that path.
Yes. It's way sooner.
Yep.
Immediately.
Because it would have saved us a lot of money. I mean, honestly, that would have been enough money. The money that we would have saved having insurance cover everything after the reversal, we could have redone the bathroom
Yes.
and got a new washer and dryer.
Yes. Yes. We would have saved a lot of money had we done it differently.
So,
Yep.
and as much as, I mean, I would love to have a child with you, and I know how much you would really like to have a child of your own. I certainly enjoy the ability for us to go do what we want to do and not have to worry about
That's true.
having a kid
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. We do have more flexibility in that. So since none of the kids really live with us full time anymore.
No, and I couldn't imagine trying to deal with a toddler right now with a mask and the virus.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we would never leave the house.
No, I feel sorry for all the parents that have to deal with that right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do too. So I'm sure they're rock stars and dealing with it, but so tough.
Or they're alcoholics and in therapy. But either
little bit
way,
of mommy and daddy
kudos to you.
medicine.
Whatever gets you through the day, whatever gets you through the virus.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So we never talk about the fact that a lot of times we are recording these, and I realize that we're running a little long, but we never talk about the fact that we're recording these episodes way out there sometimes.
yeah, sometimes we're weeks ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we'll record like tonight.
Well, we don't always do them in order. I mean, like,
Well, no,
you
that
know,
too.
we might, the week before St. Patrick's Day, we might do the St. Patrick's video.
Right.
But then, I mean, this video might have been recorded 3 weeks earlier.
Right.
You know, so we don't always record them in order or put them up in the order that we record them in.
Correct.
So,
and like tonight, we recorded 3 episodes that will take 3 weeks to release.
Right. But I feel like, and maybe we need to shoot another, just a short video and throw up somewhere about the fact that the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, that's our 1 year anniversary of Don going into the hospital with the virus.
Yeah, I know.
We never talked about it.
No,
I just thought about that right now.
Yeah. I thought about it before, whether or not we wanted to do kind of a 1 year anniversary. And it's hard because
if I could go back and tell us something different, it would be don't get the virus.
But
no, I wouldn't. I'm glad we got it over with.
Yeah.
And done with. But by the same token, I still have a lot of symptoms.
Oh, I know.
But how would you escape it? I mean,
right. My concern is that if we hadn't gotten it then, we would have gotten it later. And how many other complications would we have had?
Right.
Had we gotten it later? The fact that you got it right, well, you shut down the state, but no, you got it right at the beginning when everything was shutting down, then it didn't affect our business
twice.
Right. Correct. So everything, our business would have been affected right away anyway. And we were sick for 4 weeks. So then I was thinking, do we do one at the time that it was like when you got the virus, or do we do it when we got released from quarantine?
Oh, yeah.
And
maybe.
actually went out into public and realized how different everything is.
That first day they told me I could leave the house. I'm going to the store. We don't need anything. I'm going to the store. Your mom just dropped stuff. I'm going to the store.
Don could not get out of the house fast enough. It was like 5 minutes after he got off the phone call, he was walking out the front door.
Don't forget your mask.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But anyway, I think we're off topic and we're running a little long. So, yeah, at some point we need to do that episode, definitely.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us for this episode. I think, I can't remember if I asked this after the last episode. Please comment about the things that you would change in your life, whether they're big things or little things. You know, we would love to hear from everybody the different things that they would do differently.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to hear people reminisce in that way.
And believe it or not, we do go through and even though I may not have time to comment on all of them, a lot of times when I'm at work and it's slow, I'll be zipping through on my phone and reading people's comments and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you enjoy the podcast, check us out on social media.
Yep. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
If you really like all the dumb memes, you can thank me. I post those. Lachelle posts more of the good content. I just reshare stupid memes. Anyway.
Well, and on Twitter, the random comments.
Right, that's me.
That's totally you. That's not me at all.
So
my brain isn't wired that way.
We are on the social medias.
Yeah.
Check us out there.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps us out greatly.
Until next time.
All right.
Have a good night.
Take care.